Hi everyone, Cosmos here from DolyGames. In this video, we're going to be doing a thought experiment on a sort of a matrix system, and I'm going to be using my character here in the game to demonstrate the point and to discuss it, and then you can say what you think in the comments below if you agree, disagree, or what you think, and give your reason for that. So what it is my character is a knight. As you can see, he's riding his horse, and I'm telling him always what to do. I'm telling him to go left, I'm telling him to go right, I'm telling him to go and attack this monster, and that's normal, that's expected. But what the point of this thought experiment is that if he is living this life, if you imagine him as from his perspective, he's living his life, it is him, he believes that it is him who chooses to go left or to go to right, or to go and attack the monster and help save the world and rid the world of evil and so forth. Although it is me who is controlling him, he doesn't know that. I'm telling him, now go over there and attack this monster, but from his perspective, it is he who chooses to do that. It is not me, because he cannot possibly comprehend me, or he doesn't even know. But from my perspective, it is me who is controlling him, and I'm telling him what to do. And so but the point is that in exactly the same way as I'm controlling him, it could be that somebody is controlling us when we're living our life. So we could be this character and some other creature, some other being. I don't know what to call it. It could be from another dimension, it could be some kind of a god, it could be some kind of a spiritual creature or whatever, I don't know. But the point is, it could be somebody else controlling our life exactly the same way, in exactly the same way as I'm controlling the life of this character, while this character thinks, of course, that it is he who is making all the choices. In that exact same way, we also think that it's us who are making all the choices in our lives. Like, say you're hungry, you go get some food. Now, was it you who chose to go get some food, or was it somebody else who chose for you, and you just implemented that decision while thinking that it is you who chose to go get the food? And as you can see, I'm telling this character exactly what to do at every moment. Now, of course, in the discussion we could say, okay, it could be to a lesser or to a greater degree. Like, there's also a difference between the word control, like 100% control, or just influence, like whispering in the ear type of a thing. And the interesting thing is that this character, it's also like a sort of a sub point to this, is that this character has no ability whatsoever to know that it is me who is controlling him, because he's just over there on my monitor. He's a two-dimensional creature, and I'm in the third dimension, and he cannot possibly understand that that he is on my monitor and that I'm controlling him from the third dimension. He is not programmed to understand that. He has no skill to understand that. There is nothing, even if you tell him, like if I would teleport inside this game and tell him, hey man, I'm controlling you from the third dimension, he wouldn't even understand that. He would say you're crazy. And so in exactly the same way, we wouldn't understand if somebody for example, so we are living in a three-dimensional world. So if somebody was controlling us or influencing us from the fourth dimension, we wouldn't understand that in any way, because we're not programmed to understand the fourth dimension. We cannot imagine it. We can discuss it, but we cannot imagine it. Even we cannot draw it. I know some people have tried to draw it, but that's more of a representation of what they think that it would be. It's not an exact picture. And so even if somebody would come to us from a fourth dimension and say, hey man, you know that you're playing this game and controlling this character, I'm actually controlling you, controlling the character. It's not you who is controlling the character. So we would be like, okay, you're crazy, you must be on drugs or something. So we also, in exactly the same way as my knight character over here, would not understand that I'm controlling him. In exactly the same way, we would not understand that somebody else is controlling us, even if they would come and tell us. even if there would even if 100 people surround us and they tell us, we swear to you this is the truth, you may choose to believe. That's different. And knowing and believing, it's those are two different things. You may choose to believe something like that, but you would not know for sure, because yeah, like I mentioned, choosing and believing is something different. So as you can see, while I'm recording this video, I'm doing all sorts of things with this character, and this character believes he is living in the world of Balnor and doing all this. He's going to this dungeon and attacking all these monsters and helping to save the world from evil creatures and so forth. For example, he sees a demon. Well, that's a very evil thing. He goes to attack it, and he thinks that it's all his choice. Everything he thinks it's his choice. But in reality, I am telling him every step of the way what to do. And if, for example, you wanted to become a doctor, or you wanted to become an engineer, or you wanted to become a scientist, or an astronaut, or whatever, how do you know that it is you who is choosing to become that? Or how do you know it is you who is choosing that profession or choosing what to do? How do you know it is not some higher being which is controlling you in exactly the same fashion, in exactly the same way as I'm controlling this character, in sort of like a matrix-like system? And so the interesting bit is that we don't really have the abilities to even test that, to even detect that. Or maybe we have and I don't know about it. Maybe we need to kind of evolve to another level, I don't know. But that's why it's a thought experiment, because I don't think there is a right or wrong answer, because it's probably not possible, at least I don't know it right now, to prove or disprove it. But that's why it's interesting to discuss it, and it's good that I'm able to demonstrate that using the game, because it's very interesting, and it could be exactly the same way in real life like it happens in the game, which is fascinating, I think. And so so that's the question: is somebody controlling us in exactly the same way or in exactly the same fashion like we are controlling the character in the game? And it is very fascinating, and I don't know the answer, and that's why this is a thought experiment. So if you have an opinion about it, or if you have an idea about it, or if you can if you know something that I don't know, or some please feel free to put your comment in the comment section below. But also it's important that you give your rationale, so don't just say like it's like that, because that's just a statement. That doesn't mean anything by itself. You have to sort of explain why do you think it's like that, and because the reasoning is more important than the statement itself, because statements, you could make any statement. So if you do post some comment explaining some statement, please put down the reasoning behind it. It's really important. And so for me, this is a very interesting this is a very interesting question. It's a very interesting idea, and I have seen actually a lot of places online in the news talking about this sort of a phenomenon of sort of that we could be in a matrix type of a thing, where higher evolved, more evolved creatures, or higher intelligence creatures are totally controlling our lives in pretty much exactly the same way like we're controlling the characters in the games that we play. It's very, very fascinating. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you like these thought experiments, please do click on like and subscribe, and share with your friends who also like this kind of stuff. And it's of course also interesting to discuss with one another. So if somebody gives I like people having opposite opinions, because if everybody agrees to one way, that's not so interesting. So it would be nice to hear from people who believe that they're in control versus hearing from people who believe that somebody else is in control. And of course that has a totally different consequence as well. If you think that you're not in control of your life, if you think that there are other people controlling your life or other creatures controlling your life, it's kind of dangerous, because then maybe you will say, okay, I'm not going to take responsibility for anything that I do, because it's not actually me who is doing it, it's somebody else doing it. That's actually dangerous. Whereas the people who say, okay, no, I'm the one in control of my life, then they also consequently believe that there are consequences for all actions, and they are the ones responsible for all the consequences. And therefore they know that their choices lead to different things, and they are the ones responsible for their choices, and that allows them to make a better choice in the future. Because if you know that, like, say, let's take a very extreme example. If you if you kill somebody, you know you will go to jail, and so the police will come and arrest you, and they'll put you to jail. And so then you know the consequence of that action. And just purely from that point of view, not even talking about ethics or morality, just from that point of view, you may choose not to do that because you don't want to go to jail. And now if you truly believe that it is somebody else controlling your life and somebody else is telling you to go kill someone, then you will say, okay, I'm not the one responsible because it was somebody else who told me to do that. So but you're gonna still go to jail, I believe. So don't do that. Don't do bad stuff like that. But anyways, that's an interesting discussion. And yeah, okay, so back to the thought experiment. That's what it is, as I mentioned. Please do let me know what you think in the comments below. Are you possibly being controlled in the same way as you are controlling your game character, that is in real life? So that's it, you guys. Thanks for watching and have a very nice day.